have is actually not the device that the fire department, I think, originally bought or leased through Stewart. And they were having issues with the device. Stewart brought out a device to swap it out, and that device is worse than what y'all had before, or what the fire department had before. It does have quite some age on it, and there's some certain functionality they can't use right now, scanning and some of those sorts of things. So what this proposal is for, if you turn to the third page, is for a 39-month lease at $119 per month. And that is for the lease of an upgraded version, basically of what they have, brand new copier. The service agreement at the very bottom there where it says service and supplies is billed at 1 cent per page black and white, 7 cents per page on color. They already do have a color device now, so this is not adding any additional cost or anything like that. And we actually, just like we set up the device for the clerk's office, we don't actually charge a monthly fee or anything like that outside of what you pay for the lease of the device. Stewart that you have right now actually charges you a fee just to kind of have the device and for them to do a service contract, and then they charge you for copies on top of that. What we do is we actually only bill you for what you run. So at a penny a page for black and white, if you run 5 copies, you pay for 5. If you run 500, you pay for 500. So you only pay for what you run on the device as far as that's concerned. Does anybody have any questions on that particular device for the fire department?
Do we need this? I mean,
What do we have now, and how much are we paying?
this is something, look like a Fortune 500 company would use or something to me, I don't know. How many copies do you run?
It's still a basic unit, believe it or not.
I'm sorry?
It's still, but it's a lower end unit.
Yeah, this is actually a step down from what you have in as far as the cost, because what you have now is a full 11 by 17 model device. This actually only does letter and legal, so it's actually like the little brother kind of to what they're using right now. Still has all the same functionality, you just can't do 11 by 17 paper, and so that actually does end up saving you a good bit of money compared to what they have right now and what they're using right now.
What are we paying now?
We purchased our original one.
We purchased the machine, and then you
Originally,
just,
It says we'll pay a service
You just
charge.
pay.
That's what
Pay
it
a
is.
service charge.
Month.
That got one down.
do you know what the service charge is a month?
I can email it in the morning, first thing.
What I came up with was roughly $28 a month, but that was only looking at, like, I think 1 or 2 months worth of usage. I couldn't say, you know, what you guys have used on the last year or anything
Is there
like
a
that.
purchase option after the lease?
There is. So these leases are fair market value leases, meaning you just lease the device. At the end of the lease, you have 3 options: ship it back, purchase it out, or go with a new lease on a new device.
How much is the purchase at the end of the lease?
Fair market value, roughly 20% of the original cost of the device.
Is that established up front?
It is not.
So
It's
that market value is determined at the time of lease?
at the time, right. Generally speaking, on a device like that, you're talking a few $100, $500 or $600, maybe something like that in the lease. And I did not include a straight out purchase price on that because you guys had leased the other device that's in the clerk's office, so I didn't prepare a purchase option. But if you guys want to look at actually purchasing it outright, you know, we could look at that cost as well for sure.
Is there something wrong with the one we have now, Mike, back then?
When you can get it to work right, that's what the problem we've been having. We had a few problems with, they came out and fixed it once. They came out and replaced the machine. That's where we got the machine we got now. The one we originally purchased is gone. They replaced it with that one. They wouldn't replace it with a up-to-date model because ours was so old. So they put that one there to fill the gap.
And I believe they didn't set that one up to scan. Is that right? You can't scan it?
It did, but it won't stay. You can't scan to it or anything like that, or send it to,
But we're paying them $28 a month to.
right. The biggest thing is trying to swap over the service. This is just an extra proposal if we decide to go this route. It's not proposing that necessarily. The service is the biggest thing right now. we're using two different companies in the building right now for printers.
How
So
much do you use your printer? I mean,
We use it a good bit.
how many copies a month you would you average, you think?
So we're talking about reversing $28 a month going to $119.
If you get a new unit, yes.
28 based on what I saw on, I think, 1 month's worth of usage, or 2 months' worth of usage. I couldn't tell you. That was my numbers based on a couple of months. I couldn't tell you, like, if you looked at the whole year, how much I actually used. I don't know that. That would be something you guys would have to look through invoices and figure out those devices.
How much is just the service?
So on the second document, the document that's landscape, this is what I originally had put together after we put the new device in the clerk's office, because y'all moved from Stewart to Dex on that device. So what I was proposing is, instead of having two different vendors working with you guys here, just having one vendor for a few different reasons, which are addressed on the second page there. But obviously having multiple vendors and multiple different invoices and different companies you have to cut checks to and all that kind of stuff. But then also having one service provider, so if somebody comes over for a service call on one device, they can look at all the devices at the same time. And Stewart is also no longer an authorized Canon dealer, so Stewart is still servicing some of the older Canon devices for you that y'all got from them, but they're not an authorized Canon dealer. They were purchased by Xerox, so they're a Xerox only shop now. So on the third page of that document, this shows the current cost, and this is just based on 1 month's worth of usage that I was able to look at. The cost very well could be higher than this, but each different device that you guys have right now that is under a service contract with Stewart, you've got the police department, the fire department up front, which is the bigger one, and then FD chief there, which is one of the chief's office. Total monthly spend with them just on this 1 month I looked at was $70.34. If we took all this stuff over under service contract, basically we could cut that cost in half. Now, if you guys are doing more copies than what I looked at here, obviously the savings would just be more. The only way you could save any less money is if y'all were running less copies than the 1 month that I looked at. The main difference being that we don't charge a service base. Stewart charges a base just to have the machine under contract. We only bill you for what you use. The only obligations or anything here would be we have to come out and look at the devices, make sure they're up to contract standards. We can put them under a service agreement with us. But if we can put all the devices under a service agreement and save y'all about half of what you're currently spending just on the service contracts you have with Stewart on those remaining Canon devices.
Anyone have any questions?
What do we have in the police department?
Another Canon device.
Are y'all having trouble out of y'all's mind?
We do it at intervals. I mean, I think they came out and serviced it several times for different things, but
You're gonna have copiers no matter what, to make sure of these. So what you're proposing on this back one is to service our equipment for the price that we've already got, for the price that you got back here.
Right. And those prices are just at cost per page, so it's only paying for what you use.
I think before we make a judgment on it, we need to maybe look at our equipment and see if they can do anything with it. And I know this is supposedly the bottom of the line, but it's we're way below the bottom of the line at Massey Paving, I can tell you, and we do a good bit of paperwork and stuff. If we got one big one in the city hall, looks like that we could do it, if we could do with something smaller. Y'all tell me.
I think one of the differences are different budgets and paying from different places, but I could be misinformed there.
Does anyone have any other questions?
The main content tonight was just a service. The proposal for the other would have to be talked about, the budget and so forth, as far as the machine itself. That wasn't part of it, really, part of it tonight. the main thing was swapping over the service at a lower cost and getting the whole building under one umbrella, one company that we're using. That's what the main goal for the grant was.
So they're proposing,
The proposal for a new unit was something, something y'all look at, so not to make a
but
decision on
you're
that.
proposing us do this.
It's less money than we're paying now, what we're saying.
Let's let it ride till next meeting and get some information.
Do they have any other questions?
Yeah, I asked if we was on a contract with Stewart and how long it was for.
Yeah, I think there's several things that we need to find out, the contract and, you know.
They're all under service agreements, which are cancelable with 30 days written notice. That's any service contract in the state of Alabama.
And I think Councilman Massey brought up, we need to make sure that those machines that we currently do have are compatible, that you can.
Yeah, we can go ahead.
He says he needs things out.
Yeah, we can go ahead and come out. I mean, y'all just have to let me know, hey, we want you to see if y'all can service them. I'll send a technician out, make sure that they're serviceable by us, meaning that they don't have something that needs to be replaced, immediately that's gonna cost us, $1,000 to replace, and we're getting paid, $17 a month on a device or whatever it is, so.
Okay, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
So, Mayor, we need to propose that they go ahead and come out and look at those machines and see if they're serviceable.
I
As
think
part
we
of
need
that
to,
discovery.
That will be fine.
I don't think we need the motion, I think we just need to do him and let him come back and
We need to
tell us what he's found, yeah. Look at our machines and tell us at the next meeting or send word,
Okay.
whether you can assume maintenance on them. or-
Okay. I will send the tech out.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Next is naming of our city auditor. I would like for us to go ahead and get Ben Court to go ahead and start our audit. He should be able to start that in the next couple of weeks. If y'all don't have any objections to that, I would like for y'all to give me the authority to go ahead and do that.
Make a motion to give the mayor the authority to hire Court as our auditor.
Second.
Any discussion?
Could we not get the overtime to do that all, do your things, since I do things in such a mess? I mean, I know you can pay as well. Could we not do that?
I don't know that the board of examiners would do it unless you find, you happen to know.
No, they will, they certainly will, if you hire them to do that. Whether or not, in a way, it's all about availability. But yes, they can do it. Some places hire them exclusively, so it is an option.
Is that what we discussed? It was somewhere between the $45,000 to $50,000 range?
No, that was for a forensic auditor,
So what we're saying is that they will actually do just a regular audit for us at a fee.
And for how far back?
Mhm.
And for how far back?
I've only seen them do the current year audit, those types of audits. I've never seen them investigate prior years.
But would we not be better doing that? As long as we don't really know what.
Well, since Mr. Court has been doing our audits, he's more familiar with what the city has basically done over the years and everything. So I honestly feel like that Mr. Court would probably be a lot faster and probably more thorough than, but, and again, he realizes that this year that he's got to come before the council, so.
I'm sorry?
We don't have to vote on that. That's the mayor's discretion.
Of course, she asked
I
for
was
us
just
to,
asking.
Yeah.
She asked for our
I
We have
just
a
wondered
motion
if we
and a
need to
second
have
to
a
give us
motion.
authority.
she asked for it.
Is there anything else? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Councilperson Cowan?
So we vote on it?
I told you, Mayor asked us.
There's a motion to second.
Just
Yeah, you don't
want
have
to
to,
approve.
but I said, I'd like to have the authority.
Yes.
Councilperson Bowman?
Yes.
Councilperson Massey?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Aldridge?
Yes.
Councilperson Brown?
Yes.
Mayor Bradley?
I'll abstain. Okay, in your packet, you got, notice that we got a, from the auditor, on our billing for our workman's comp. It was, after they did the, audit, we owed $2,912. I would like for someone to make a motion for us to go ahead and pay that.
Motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Cowan?
Yes.
Councilperson Bowman?
Yes.
Councilperson Massey?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Aldridge?
Yes.
Councilperson Brown?
Yes.
Mayor Bradley?
Yes. Advanced disposal, we had an invoice from July 2016 in the amount of $3,025 that was left over from the previous administration. Amanda just received this, but she got a phone call first, and she asked them to send her documentation. And I do recall that being done by the previous administration, so I'd like to have an motion for someone to, for us to go ahead and pay that.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Cowan?
Yes.
Councilperson Bowman?
Yes.
Councilperson Massey?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Aldridge?
Yes.
Councilperson Brown?
Yes.
Mayor Bradley?
Yes. Next is rescheduling of the 5/22/2017 council meeting due to the fact that some of us will be at convention on that date. And I think that by our work session, that everyone's agreed on May the 24th at 6 p.m. Is that correct? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Cowan?
Yes.
Councilperson Bowman?
Yes.
Councilperson Massey?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Aldridge?
Yes.
Councilperson Brown?
Yes.
Mayor Bradley?
Yes. We need to add to the agenda tonight, I want to make that motion, the plot plans of Mr. Arant for the Deer Crossing subdivision, I think it's Deer Creek Crossing, isn't it? Subdivision at the advice of the attorney. He wanted some language changed on this map, and they have done so and sent him, he's looked that over and he said that it's fine. So do I hear a motion to accept, for us to sign off on those plot plans? To add it to the agenda first.
I'll make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Cowan?
Yes.
Councilperson Bowman?
Yes.
Councilperson Massey?
Abstain.
Mayor Pro Tem Aldridge?
Yes.
Councilperson Brown?
Yes.
Mayor Bradley?
Yes. Okay, do I hear a motion to,
Mayor, can I have one more? Ask a question to the city attorney. I have a relative who lives in that subdivision. Should I abstain?
Currently living, there's no true benefit to the relative or you, so,
None that I know of.
and none that I can foresee based upon your approval. I see no reason to abstain.
Okay.
okay, do I hear a motion for us to give the authority for myself and Mr. Bowman, our councilperson Bowman, to sign off on these plot plans?
I'll make that motion.
Do I hear a second? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Cowan?
Yes.
Councilperson Bowman?
Yes.
Councilperson Massey?
Abstain.
Mayor Pro Tem Aldridge?
Yes.
Councilperson Brown?
Yes.
Mayor Bradley?
Yes. Does the council have any comments?
We have one more,
Oh,
one
what's
more
that?
piece of business that I'd like to make a motion, I would like to make a motion for the council to designate a primary and secondary location for our emergency shelter to be used only in the event, not the shelters used only in the event, but locations used only in the event that we come under a time constraint, whereas we can't do all our due diligence before making that decision.
So I need to make a motion to put it on the agenda. Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Cowan?
Yes.
Councilperson Bowman?
Yes.
Councilperson Massey?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Aldridge?
Yes.
Councilperson Brown?
Yes.
Mayor Bradley?
Yes. Okay, now a motion to choose that side.
I'd like to make a motion to designate a primary and secondary location for our emergency shelter to be used only in the event that we don't have time to complete the due diligence and make that final designation.
Which one do you want to make first and second?
Primary being the site where the equipment's located now, the secondary being out somewhere in the vicinity of the fire bay.
My second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson Cowan?
No.
Councilperson Bowman?
Yes.
Councilperson Massey?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Aldridge?
Yes.
Councilperson Brown?
Yes.
Mayor Bradford?
Yes. Okay, is there any comments from the council tonight?
What is this? Okay. Somebody just want to see the equipment or something.
Any comments from the council? Public comments? Anyone sign the book?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting